Right. Just want to show you today how I got these 2 kayaks on the bed of my truck for transport side by side with no rack and on a soft, just a cheap soft tonneau cover, and how I supported it, and then put these brackets that go out on the edges, and then just tied them down. I've been riding around for a couple days, testing it out, making sure everything's solid, and it is. So I've got my Topwater 106 PDL without the pedal drive in. I think it's about 100 pounds. And then I got this 10-foot Tamarack angler. It weighs significantly less, and works much better. The Topwater is just, it's heavy even to get up just to the truck bed. But yeah, so let's see. I'll go ahead and start to undo these. I'm not going anywhere. I was just wanted to see if this would work. We went down to Hiawassee last weekend, rented duckies up there, and my wife went with me, and she had a pretty good time, so I figured she's might want to get out on some flat water. And we already had this other boat, so rather than spending, you know, a bunch of money on racks and different setups, I mean, I can get these in the bed of the truck, but if we're gonna go camping, I'm gonna lose the tonneau cover, the ability to keep everything dry if I put these in the bed of the truck, and which I love my tonneau cover for camping, keeping everything nice and dry and secure, just not really having to worry about much of anything. But I've never been a fan of losing that, so I finally decided if I'm gonna, now if I've just got my Topwater in the bed of the truck, I can still get our camping stuff in there, and this will close without the pedal drive in. I'll still have my tailgate down. So pretty much everything pretty much stays dry still, but with a second boat, that's not necessarily an option. So right now, I've got one support on this rib here. There's a rib in here. You've got one here, one here, one here, and then one on the back, but also the tailgate serves as a support. So I can open the tailgate right now, but all that weight is gonna shift to just that rib here, and I don't really wanna put all that weight on there. I've got another support, and I plan to use that as well, and I'll show you what it is here in just a second. But I just didn't want to, there's no reason to do it right now and risk any damage on that. It's been raining. This stormed all night last night, and it's been raining this morning. And I've got a guy coming to cut some trees here in a little while, so I reckon we're staying home this weekend, so it was a good time to get this setup figured out. These tie downs here are, like if you've watched my other videos, they're my absolute favorite. They're so easy to work with. They ratchet tight. They've got the clips or the little carabiners on the end. I would have probably used a regular tie down, just in putting this together. The pre-drilled holes on these are just corner braces. Picked them up at Tractor Supply. I've got 4 of those. I would have normally used a tie down, but just for the ease of transport and whatnot, or getting these things tied down. As you can see, I've got a, well, if I can get this off here, sometimes these ends snag on the rope. But they're so cheap, it's almost not even worth upgrading, because the Carabiners these days, to get a decent one, and I do have a couple of those in the bed, I'll show you in a minute, but that's here. And then I've got one just back here. This just helps keep the back ends from sliding out. Probably not completely necessary, but especially on the first go around, I want to get them as secure as possible. I wasn't exactly sure how well these were going to ride, and honestly they've ridden very well. Very pleased with how they rode. I've been probably, I don't know, 30 miles with them. I haven't been on the interstate or anything. I've been up to about 55 miles an hour or so. Is a little more tedious on the tie down process, but if you're saving, like I said, I mean, this is just I think I've got about $175 in this tonneau cover, and then I think I'm going to wind up with about $100 in hardware for the whole setup. Oh, that's why. This is on the other end of the hardware for these pieces and whatnot, and the supports. But if you factor this tonneau cover doesn't have tracks, it's just the clamp-on style. So that's really what's bearing a lot of the weight. And I don't know, as far as longevity, how long that'll really hold up. It does put a little stress on there, but if you're gonna have to buy a new cover anyways, then this one has lasted longer. I think it's about a little over 2 years old, and I honestly wasn't expecting it to last that long. So it's been a pretty good, I consider it a pretty good investment. You definitely want something with a clasp on tying these down when you don't have any kind of other support, because even if they loosen up, you don't want your tie down to come loose and then have absolutely nothing holding it on. At this point, if something loosens up, I can tell and stop and tighten it up if need be. So I've just got those running through the handles there, and these are off. So I definitely want to take this lighter one off first. I'm gonna be a little careful because it does come down on the tailgate. I probably need a rag. But so it's right in between hitting the tailgate and the saver piece. We got a little water in there last night. This is not very so this one I'm a little more concerned with. Let's just put a little piece of, so I got this at the dollar store. It's a non-slip shelf liner, provides a little protection. They come in sheets, or maybe it's just one long sheet. Okay. So this will allow me to maybe not mar this up. I didn't have a towel in there, but I can lift this up and slide it over to here. I don't know how well that's going to work, but oh. Okay, so it's all boat weight. What I'm going to do is try to slide this down about as possible. Whoop. Okay, so yeah, you can see that definitely helped some. We'll pick this end up. Like I said, this boat is considerably more heavy than that boat. And if we're just gonna do flat water stuff, I may wind up getting another one of those tamaracks just to play with as a play boat. All right, now you will see what we got going on here. Got all my camping gear, and right back there is the support. Don't know, well, here's the box. It got pushed out of the way and I didn't see it. Oop. Little soggy. So these are called stack jacks, stabilizing trailer jacks. They only extend, it's a 2-pack, and I think they were $35 at Tractor Supply. Not usually where I buy things because it's pretty expensive, but they had them in stock. So, and it appears to have worked fine. The length from my bed to the top of the cover is about 24 inches. Like I said, these only extend to 17. Got one right here. I've only got one in here right now because I was just trying to get these done before it got dark. See if this was actually going to work. So here's the actual, what comes in the box. These things just slide in here. The nut goes in there and you spin to extend a little quicker if you take it out and do it this way. I've got some scrap pieces of wood in there. be able to see. I've got 2 pieces, so 4 inches on the top and 1 piece on the bottom to get me those extra 6 inches. And that is completely maxed out on this. So I'd really probably rather have maybe one more 2x4 in there, or 2x6, something. Maybe even just a 4x4 on the bottom, or either way, doesn't really matter, but at least 2 more inches. So this thing, because once this thing is all the way extended, which is probably about right there, so it still sits in there, and while it's got a load on it, it's pretty secure, but as you can see, there's nothing there holding it. So if something were to shift as far as the load goes, I'd much rather have another 2 inches, and then it can't, this portion keeps it from falling over. But like I said, I've got about 30 miles on this setup the way it is now, and as you can see, that's probably shifted some. That's a easy up canopy there sitting beside it. It's got some weight to it, so it would be possible for, if the load were to shift significantly, to kick that out, and you'd lose your support in there. But as far as supporting, it does a great job so far. Like I said, even with the tailgate supports back here, and I really want to put, you've got this other support running right here, and I plan on putting this other one right here, and that way it'll support the whole length. And at that point, I'll still be able to use my tailgate with both kayaks on there. So, and that's really what I'm after. That way you don't have to unload these when you get to camp. And when we go to the river, I don't know, depending on exactly, the day or how far we're going or whatnot, I may just unfold this, throw the kayaks in here, and travel that way without actually tying them on top. So now I'll show you. Now these blocks will probably fall once I take this. Well, I'm not going to take it all the way up. I'm just going to show you the ones on the back. The ones on the backs are pretty much the same as the ones on the front. So this fold strap's got another clamp on that one, so they're not going anywhere. But on all 4 corners, here's what I've got. This is a 8-inch corner bracket. Along with these, I just put these on here for something initially. So when these are on here, there's really nothing holding them, as you can see. So these are just another kind of support for that to go into once they get a load on them. With your tie down pulling this way, it's pulling back this way. So that just kind of helps reinforce that. Not by any means probably the best solution, but it works. Down here, I got just a carabiner going into my actual bed hook and a turnbuckle. And that really works nice to make things secure and know they're not going anywhere. That thing won't loosen up because it can't turn. All right, had to catch a phone call. But as you can see, nothing to it. I could drill, and it would be a lot better to get a anchor point right up here on top of the bed. With this tonneau cover, it's working, so probably not going to do it just so I don't have to drill into the bed rail. And that just, and actually you can put this, hook that on right there, and you can really just wedge it up there. maybe. If it's straight. Oh wait, these go on the, no, that's right. What's that? Oh, because it goes over here. Let's see my rib section. You have to loosen it to get it back on there. These turnbuckles just loosen like that. And then once it's on there, just twist that, tighten it down, and you're done. All these pieces, I think this was about $9 for the bracket, $2 or $3, which is really probably not necessary. Kinda is on the front, because on the front they sit a lot higher. As you can see that one up there. There's not enough room. It sits more, the bed kind of bows out right here, where in the front it doesn't. So you have to put those on the other side. Just makes a nice attachment point. I would still use them, even though it probably could make something work that doesn't. Same thing on this side. Pretty straightforward stuff. Two points in the front, and these just fold over. They go over this little rubber gasket here. Sits nicely over that. Clamp them down. Pretty tight. Loosen it a little bit. And like I said, I don't know that, I know this is some pretty cheap hardware that's on this tonneau cover. So it's probably stressing it quite a bit. And you know, it's part of it. But now, as you can see, you got, and these shift a little bit. I mean, they move. They're not the most sturdy thing in the world. These up front, they kind of pull up because let's see, the ribs right here. So, but the anchor point is down here, so it needs to be above that. I'd rather this rib have been close to that one because it kind of pulls up. Not a big span here, but this will flex some. It is what it is. So I'm just super stoked to be able to have all my camping gear and get these 2 kayaks on top, no rack, with this cheap tonneau cover. So yeah, just wanted to show you guys that in case you're looking for an option. Some of the options are absolutely outrageous. And buy a tonneau cover that has the racks built in for about $2,500. You can get a solid rack that slides. That's a hard tonneau cover that probably would support, I know it would support the lighter weight one. You know, you're starting to probably push limits when you put the Topwater on there. But, you know, those are still $900 to $1,500, and you still don't have attachment points. So that was the whole thing. I looked around, tried to come up with solutions, and this is what I came up with. Most of all, these right here, we could figure out another way to do these brackets. I think probably a little better. If I probably put a block of wood, cut the length, and wedge it in there to make sure those don't really bow out any more than they do. Still going to put some stress on here, and those probably will eventually strip out. But like I said, it is what it is, and it's definitely working for now. But yeah, so far so good. We'll see. Hopefully it's probably about 2 weeks before we get to get out again. But happy to be able to take both boats and get my wife on the water, which is cool. Thanks for watching. If you got any questions, just put them in the comments. And please subscribe. Thanks for watching. Check you guys later. I was going to tell you one more thing. And that was like, there's a lot of stake pocket racks, you know, that you can mount right into the stake pockets. With this cover, it's outside the rail, so the cover actually sits on the outside of the rail, so my stake pockets aren't exposed. So with this cover, that's not really an option. There's no way to modify this cover to where I can get access to the stake pockets. There's I think there's like one option that has a rack. It's an actual rack and crossbar. It's, I don't know, I don't even recall how much it costs. Maybe 300 bucks. And it will go down into, I don't remember if it goes in the stake pocket flat and comes out basically this same design, and then has your attachment point. Basically this same design and attachment point off to the side with your rack sitting here, and two racks, which I thought, well, that could be pretty cool. But it's got, I think, 6 bolts on each one of those that you would have to take off to actually access your cover, which not that big of a deal. I just think this is much more convenient because now I can access the whole bed. I don't have to climb in there. Once these kayaks are off, then I can fold my tonneau cover all the way back and get to anything I need. Don't have to crawl in there or anything. So just wanted to add that because I think they sit pretty low. I think about 4 inches. So your crossbars are going to be coming over, well, I guess roughly in the same, about the same spot. But this will not flip back with that on there. And you have to take, well, like I said, 3 on each side, 6 screws to take that crossbar off to use your, to open up your tonneau cover. So I thought this worked much better. And if you don't have these, you're really missing out. These are, I've said it in a couple other videos, no sponsor. I just buy the cheapest ones on Amazon. I think this was a 12 pack, and I think I gave about 20 bucks, maybe somewhere around there, for 12 of these. You can't even buy the little Carabiners, even at like Tractor Supply, for that cheap. And they work fantastic. I think they've got they're 150 or 220 pound working load. They do rust up after a couple years, and just replace them. I've only had one break that, but I've put these to the limits. They really work well. So easy. Whether you're tying up a tarp shelter, tying out guidelines for your tent, anything, they're fantastic. Very easy to work with. This is what these last ones I bought. This is the bag they come in, Ziploc, pretty heavy duty plastic. I just keep them in there. They're actually called heavy duty rope hangers, 6 pairs. Van Leno. I've bought these, I think, 3 different times, different ones, but for me to tie all these down, it took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like I said, that was 12 in this pack, so I've got 4 more brand new. If they do get wet, it's best to let them dry out. These are probably still a little damp, but at the same time, I'm not too concerned. I've got a bunch of these, and I always keep them in the truck because they are handy for anything. I don't typically use them for tie downs, but in this situation, I definitely use them because the carabiner ends fit perfectly into those holes. So there you go. Don't be afraid to try this out. If you got any suggestions on improvements or maybe another way to do it, I'm open to see some other things, or if you've got a video of a way you did it. I was unable to find anybody car topping on top of one of these cheap folding tonneau covers, so that's why I went ahead and made this video.